there's so many moving parts this Canes offseason, partially because we're all, as I've said a million times, we're all just fantasizing about the moves that could potentially happen, the high-priced wingers that score 40, 50 goals, the centers that can solve all the issues. They're all right there. Can't forget about the guys already on the roster. Logan Stankoven and Alexander Nikishin. You want to do everything you can to get them locked into a long-term deal this offseason. And the reason why I say that is this. Trust your evaluation, okay? Because if the Canes' evaluation of these guys is correct, and based on everything we've heard from Eric Tulsky and Rod Brind'amour and the experts that cover the sport, these are two guys that are really good for different reasons, right? Alexander Nikishin is super, obviously good, right? 6'4", 215, 220, fast, skates well, been the best, supposedly, the best non-NHL defenseman for a couple of years now during his time in the KHL over in Russia. Logan Stankoven is great for maybe less obvious ways, undersized, but you watch him play and he just continuously does good thing after good thing after good thing. He's been a major part of two deep postseason runs for two different teams already. He's played in both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and he just finished his rookie season. Think about that. And if you trust your evaluation on everything I just said, they're never going to be cheaper than they are right now. Right? We talked about Logan Stankoven potentially playing his way into an Olympic roster spot next year. Long shot, but there's potential there. If he does that, he's not going to be cheaper next offseason than he is now. Alexander Nikishin has played, 4 games in the NHL in North America? You don't think after a month of that guy getting a chance to figure it out, his agents won't be able to say, yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price. Matter of fact, I think that's probably the hardest part of getting him signed now is his agents likely also want to bet on his development in the same way the Canes do. But if you can get these guys locked in now, I don't think they're going to be cheaper at any point in time in the near future. They're both young enough that you'd expect them to keep getting better. And that's a big deal. Now, they're very different situations, right? Partially because of Alexander Nikishin and the agent situation and the coming from Russia situation, and there's a whole bunch of other things that may or may not matter there. But Logan Stankoven spoke to the media. Spoke on a radio station. Do you have the name of the station? I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, it's 6:10 a.m. It's Radio NL and Kamloops.
There you go. He spoke with that station about his future and had some nice things to say about potentially signing long-term with Carolina. Let's start with his major takeaways from his half a season, roughly, here in the Triangle.
Definitely the fans, just so loud, and they bring the noise each night, so it was a fun building to play in. And I just think the group of guys, even though I was only there for a few months and playoffs, it was a really tight group, and it was easy to see why those guys, make it so far each year. Just a really great group that was welcoming and made me feel part of the team right away. So those were the two main things.
Sounds like you liked it. It was obvious, and it, right? And this isn't just hockey. It's any group. You don't want to be like the first impressions guy and judge off of, but pretty quickly whether someone's going to fit in or not, right? Pretty quickly if somebody's going to enter into your group or not. Or if they're like, oh, super nice, like super good dude, but, he's probably not going to be in my clique. Like it doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It just, when someone fits, and it was obvious from the jump that Logan Stankoven fit in with the Carolina Hurricanes and actually brought in a few things that I think the Canes needed, right? I loved Stankoven getting in the face of guys like Tom Wilson. I loved his ability, despite his kind of diminutive stature, to get the puck off the boards or to play with a net front presence or to bring a little bit of extra scrap. So he likes it. They liked it. Get together, get a deal, right? Stankoven sounds like that's something he would be interested in once you can kind of start talking about it July 1.
Yeah, personally, I'd love to. I think it seems like the team likes to sign, the younger guys to longer-term deals, and that'd be great for me. It's that'd be a dream come true to sign a deal like that. But yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see for now until I guess July 1st is when they can kind of start talking to me about a new deal and an extension. So we'll wait until then and see what happens.
He's already open to it. You don't have to convince him that a long-term deal in Carolina is right. Think about how different that is than, say, Martin Necas. Right? Martin Necas, it was like pulling teeth to get him to agree to anything because it felt like he wanted to hit the open market. Logan Stankoven saying, like, it looks like they like to lock guys up to a long-term contract. Carolina's going, that's exactly what we want to do. And they're going, well, then we should do it. It's like, all right, we should do it. Then there's the other sides, right? The other value that needs to be taken care of. Part of making the Mikko trade, the Mikko Rantanen saga, a success for the Canes is developing Logan Stankoven into a long-term player for your franchise. And do you know what actually bodes well and makes me like I like Logan as a player just from play style, but something that makes me think even higher of him as like a quality player? Listen to Dallas fans. They're bummed that guy is gone. They want him back. Right? Every time I talk on social media about potentially making a trade for Jason Robertson and saying, hey, we got your picks. Do you want him back? They all respond with like, forget the picks. Give us Stankoven back. Like they want that dude, which is the best like vote of confidence possible. Right? If you ever inquire in a trade like, hey, how about that guy? And they're like, perfect, yes. I'd be like, whoa, wait a second. Never mind. Hold on. Right? I want them to go, really? You want him? I don't know. Even if they're acting, do that because it makes me feel better. The Stars group, they like that guy. And so do the Canes. All right, now you're impressing multiple fan bases at once. That's the sign of a guy that is truly good. He fits with the Canes. We talked about that. It's I was on a podcast and I used this reference. It's funny. My two most quoted movies are like The Smartest Sports Movie and Moneyball, where like you have to watch with like a notepad and make sure you're keeping track of everything, and The Dumbest Sports Movie in Draft Day, where you're just, I want picks. Sure, you can have them. No, I want them. No, I wrote this in my pocket. Ha, we win. What you mean? You took an off-ball linebacker and a running back in the first round. In that movie, there is a portion where they're okay. So for these, it's an NFL draft movie. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but they're looking to draft a stud quarterback like the Trevor Lawrence, the Andrew Luck. Right? There's this can't miss quarterback, and the GM looks to his scouts and he goes, "What's wrong with him?" And the scouts are nothing. Right? He's perfect. Oh, he stands tall. He throws rockets. He's agile. There's nothing wrong with them. And the point that the GM was trying to make was find out what's wrong with them, right? They used to say Elway threw it too hard. He didn't have any touch. But in the end, it didn't matter. They said Peyton Manning's arm wasn't strong enough. He couldn't make every throw. But in the end, it didn't matter. Find out what's wrong with this guy and then figure out if it matters. Logan Stankoven, he's a smaller guy. Right, we know what the scouting report is going to say, on his prospect profile. Right, skates well, played but undersized guy, and the physicality. Who knows how he's going to hold up? It's really nice to know on the surface, like there is that guy's flaw, and we've seen it not matter. He plays bigger. This is not the Canes just don't care about size and their analytics. No, it's not that. It's I've seen him play. He doesn't play small. So, yes, we know that exists, and we have already pointed out it doesn't matter. Just like, Peyton Manning doesn't have Josh Allen's arm, but I'll be darned if he didn't complete a lot of deep balls. Like, it just didn't matter. I like Logan Stankoven for that way. And if I'm right about all this, he's never going to be cheaper than he is now. Lock him up so you can build around his contract and the others that you have. It's no different than the Jarvis deal. It's no different than they just get them locked up to a reasonable number and it will age phenomenally.
There's so many parallels to Jarvis there too, with them being a bit smaller players. They're both very good with the puck retrievals, both not afraid to shoot the puck on goal. I've been saying a lot over the last season, it kind of feels like they're trying to build the team out of Seth Jarvis's because it's Jarvis, Stankoven, Jackson Blake is kind of in that same mold as well, really good with the puck retrievals and not the biggest guy. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Of course, you want a couple bigger guys that are going to be able to throw the weight around in the playoffs, as it's clearly been shown by Florida. But if you can find those kind of value players and you can lock them up, when they're young and when they won't cost as much in the year over year, you definitely need to do it.
Building the team out of Seth Jarvis's, like 40% Seth Jarvis's, fantastic. Fantastic. I don't know if you want 100% Seth Jarvis's, but 40% Seth Jarvis's each and every time. If Jackson Blake develops into that, and I don't think he's quite there, every time.